Hello, this is Maralyn Burstein. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am momentarily going to discuss manuscript translations I would urge you to buy. When you go to the bookstore and you buy Western books on astrology, they are not worth your money. So to learn Western astrology, I would urge you to get David Rule's edition of what is called Christian Astrology by William Lilly. William Lilly lived in the 17th century, and he was one of the most famous astrologers in England because he was a genius. He was a horary mastermind. And in this book, he gives examples of actual charts he did for his clients. They are very amusing. You can read between the lines. Lilly didn't give all his techniques away in this book because no astrologer ever does. Trade secrets are trade secrets. But these books, if you're learning Western astrology, you cannot do any better than buying these books. Now, they may be out of print, but you buy them anyway because they're going to eventually go out of print because this knowledge is going into the dark ages, as I explained. Very few people are willing to do the work to read complicated manuscripts as this is. This is written in Elizabethan English, because it was written in the 17th century by William Lilly, and that was his mother tongue. So he has definitions of the planets, definitions of the signs, definition of the houses. He tells you how to set up charts. He tells you how to interpret charts. He tells you how to do chart comparisons. These books are, if you're learning Western astrology, they are the very best books for doing so. And if you're learning horary astrology, this is the Bible of this knowledge. Okay. This is Brihat Parashara Siddhant. This is Parashara's manuscripts. These are the basis of Vedic astrology from India. I use them, of course, in translation because I can't read anything connected to India unless it's translated for me. You can buy the translation of Parashara, Sage Germany, and you have to memorize the rules to do Vedic charts. Now, and you also have to buy the software to compute such charts, because if you did these charts by hand, it would take you days and days and days, and you'd make a lot of errors. There is software available that calculates it for you. So anyway, Vedic astrology is extraordinary. And if you're looking to find character, and if you're looking to find gifts, these are the manuscripts for you. Okay. Now, here's a translation of Vettius Valens, a Greek astrologer who walked across the desert from Egypt into Greece. And there's a very whiny description of how he set off on a bad day and his camel died and he almost died. It's a very amusing book by a Jewish astrologer who went from Egypt into Greece, memorized a whole bunch of information that he bought, and he became, in my opinion, probably one of the best astrologers that ever lived. Valens was a genius. His manuscripts are encoded. They're written so that evil people cannot get his secrets, because he was well aware of the fact that evil people look for timings so that they can get power, and Valens wasn't going to give it to them. So Professor Mark Riley translated the manuscripts of Vettius Valens into a marvelous English translation, and you can buy copies of this translation. And I would urge you to do so before it goes out of print, because not a lot of people can think like Valens. And you will find that Valens was a genius and well worth your time. And it's also fun to read him because of his personality, which was very irascible, complained a lot, and absolutely marvelous to read. Okay. And here is a translation of Julius Firmicus Maternus, a book the manuscript is called Mathesis. It's translated by James Herschel Holden, who was a classic scholar. And anything by Holden is worth buying. Most of his works are out of print. This is a translation of a manuscript that will aid you in understanding Hellenistic astrology. And here we have a translation called Carmen Astrologicum, and it's by Dorotheus of Sidon, who was a very, very extraordinary ancient astrologer, well worth your money. So these are some of the manuscripts I would urge you to buy, and I would urge you to buy them because trying to get a copy of such things right now is almost impossible, because people are not using these manuscripts, because when they see them, they freak out, because these are very abstruse, complicated manuscripts. However, if you don't read them and you don't think about them and you don't use them, and you use Western astrology in the simplicity the which is offered, you will be wasting your time. Not only will you be wasting your time, but you will find yourself in despair, because you will feel that you are making a mistake, that you did something wrong, that when you are memorizing the teachings of the people that don't know how to do astrology but are teaching it on YouTube, that you made a mistake in not following what they told you to do. But you didn't make a mistake. You're copying people that are going right off the cliff. So unless you get the really good manuscripts that I'm, examples of which I'm giving you now, and astrologies of which I'm giving you now, then you might as well not even bother trying to study astrology, because you won't get anywhere. And most of you are seekers. Most of you are after the meaning of life. You want to know, you want to see your life on the page. If you're using the right astrologies and you're using the right manuscripts and you're using charts that really are viable, then when you print out the chart of whatever thing you're looking at, it's going to be exactly what's going on. Now, you want to talk about a thrill. So for example, if you lose a missing object and the chart, let me give you an example of a horary chart I did. I lost my cell phone. I was in my farmhouse in Kentucky and the rain was coming down and I lost my cell phone, and I was in the middle of nowhere on 9 acres of land. And this became a serious matter, because traveling without a cell phone over long miles is not a good idea if you're living in the country. So I cast a chart at midnight to find out where my cell phone was. And the chart showed me that in 9 hours I would find it. The moon of that chart was in Scorpio. And the chart showed me that the cell phone was in great condition and it was in a place of amusement. Well, the only place of amusement I could think of that described that was the YMCA. And I thought, that's ridiculous. That can't be right. But at 9 o'clock in the morning, I called up the front desk of the YMCA and I said, have you seen my cell phone? And they said, we have your cell phone behind the front desk. The front desk was right next to the bathroom, hence the moon in Scorpio. And they said, it's in great condition. You dropped it in the parking lot in the rain. We have it right here. Well, I've got to tell you, and I got the cell phone back. It was in perfect condition as the chart said it was. Once you've done a chart like that, a horary chart that is exact and is actually true, your sense of reality changes completely, because you see that astrology is like physics. It's as exact as physics. It's as precise as physics. And it isn't ambiguous at all. It's very, very, very real. And then you realize that your life isn't random, that what you're doing on earth isn't random, and that you're in an ordered universe, that there is a God, and that you're in an ordered universe. These are the gifts of these excellent charts. You aren't just trying to get something to go somewhere. It's what it gives you when you practice excellent astrology. When you do charts by excellent minds that lived, then you are actually, as Einstein said, God doesn't play dice with the universe. You're tapping into the order of the universe, and you're seeing on the page every time you do a chart that your life is not random. It's very, very exact, and that you're tapping into the higher power. Now, why did God give this knowledge to human beings? The answer is because your character was given to you when you were born. But what you do with your opportunities and what you do with your character are where you have free will. By using astrology, you can figure out how to do that. And by not tapping into astrology, you'll never know that. So these are my points. Maybe I sound preachy, but I hate to see this knowledge not available to all. Because obviously God gave it to human beings so that they could live their lives with as much free will as they could possibly get. And by living up to their character and picking timing charts that work with their character in a positive way, they have a very big chance of succeeding in whatever matter they take up. And I want my clients to have that gift. If you enjoyed this, thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you.